to the United Stand Fans Forum. Manchester United 0, City 0. Now, a lot of people are saying that was a very boring Manchester derby, but this show is about to be very exciting because I am joined with Ricky, Mords and Kev, and Ricky is absolutely glowing about Bruno Fernandes, so you can look forward to that. Some Bruno praise coming from Ricky. And we've got loads to talk about, despite the game being a little bit boring. Ricky's absolutely loved it. He loved the Vanguard days. You know, maybe some other people and you guys in the chat expect more from a Manchester derby. Why can we not finish our chances? Are we being a little bit harsh? Because we probably did have the better chance of the game. We're going to talk you through it now. Welcome, everybody. Kev, I'll start with you. Yep. Fantastic shirt you've
Thank you very much. Made an effort today.
I could look at that for 90 minutes and probably be more entertained than what I was in the game we just watched, to be honest with you. I mean, Manchester derbies, usually, you know, everything is on the line. There's so much anticipation. There's so much hype around it. I mean, even going into this game, I didn't feel like it was as hyped up as it usually is. Probably because, you know, Man City are not where they were, which is like winning titles, and United don't really have much to play for. But despite that, crowd did turn up. I was in Old Trafford. The atmosphere was there, and it is a Manchester derby. You're playing for pride. Do you think the players kind of took that on board through their performance?
Listen, from the start, I think Ruben Amorim knew that he couldn't really go toe-to-toe with Manchester City. I think it would have been very, very naive to try and go out, you know, gung-ho, attack them. So there was a game plan. We're under no illusion. We talk about standards and all this, and this is where we are at this moment in time. I think a lot of the players, I keep saying it, are not good enough, but if you'd have said this before the game, 0-0 against Manchester City, and again, it seems like a negative. I know, like the title of this, what is it, Snooze Fest. You know, you can look at it like that, but in terms of the football, like I say, we had opportunities. On another day, we could have won this game. For me, it probably says more about where Manchester City are as a club. And I know this is not the City stand, it's the United stand, but if I was a City fan, we know we're not great, you know, and we're
not great. It's been nice.
Well, we know that we're rubbish. So for us to get a result against City, it's more questions at Manchester City, really. You know, how have they not beaten us? But going into it today, I was quite confident. You know, I said that on the build-up, the countdown to kick off, the fact that we've been humiliated in so many derbies. So it's just turning that tide defensively. If we can start doing this week in, week out, where we do actually look defensively solid, it's at the other end. You know, these whatever players are playing up front, Garnacho, whoever it is, it just seems to be breaking down, and that is a major, major issue at this moment. And Bruno Fernandes, best player on the pitch.
Do you know what it is? It feels like every single week it's like the same old story, and you're just waiting to get to that transfer window, because I think it's obvious where the problems are at Manchester United. But Ricky, we were speaking a little bit before the show started. A lot of people calling this a snooze fest, calling it boring, you know, saying, you know, Manchester United need to give us more, especially considering where Manchester City are, which is nowhere near as the levels that they've been operating at, which is obviously right at the very top. They're now,
it's a long time ago, though.
Yeah, I think they're in fifth place now, still ahead of us. I mean, do you agree with that? Because you look at the results, and United have won at the Etihad, and they've got a draw at Old Trafford against Manchester City, who have been dominating Manchester United for many years. Like, how do you see that, or do you still expect more?
Well, I'll tell you how I saw the game. I was enthralled by it. I was biting my nails, and I was sat on the edge of my seat, so I don't know what the people are watching. You know what I mean? You're playing... I know City are not quite what they were, but I think they started with De Bruyne, Gundogan, Foden, Silva, whatever he's called. Loads of attacking players who played throughout their, you know, halcyon years, if you like, and obviously the new superstar who they reckon they've got, this Marmouche, is it? I know Højlund was missing. I was thinking, I'll settle for this for half time and we can have a little go in the second half, and we did. And I was absolutely over the moon with how organised we were, how well set up we were. And every time they attacked, every time they went forward, I'm just like praying that we get away with this attack and then the next attack and then the next. I'm wishing the minutes away, really. And we get to half time and then I could get a bit of a breather. I feel like I can get a bit of a breather, like the players can. I can go, do you know what I mean? And then second half, we had a right good go at them, I thought. And I was over the moon with his game plan, over the moon with the way the players went about it. We know we haven't got superstar strikers. We know that. But the work rate, you couldn't fault the work rate of. I mean, I know the two people who'll probably get the most stick will probably be Højlund and Garnacho. You couldn't fault the work rate. And when you're trying to get to half time at 0-0, every little ball that your centre forward can win and every free kick that he can win, they're all vital. You never know which one of them, if he doesn't win it, might lead to them going up the other end and scoring a goal. I think the manager would have been over the moon with Højlund today in the first half, and probably all the fans would be devastated with him.
We'll get onto that because I want to have a little chat about Højlund and Zirkzee. A lot of criticism coming in for Rasmus Højlund, but I think you've made a good point there, Ricky. And then this is just me, playing devil's advocate. Does it not say a lot about where Manchester United are now? This is probably the worst City have been in years, and we still, I know, we gave it a go. We made chances. We were close. We still failed to get a goal at Old Trafford. It does still feel like you could have played for an extra hour and nothing really would have come of it. You still can see,
we know we've got to improve at that.
City are not operating anywhere near full capacity, and United still can't really lay a glove on him.
Yeah, but for us to be able to lay a glove on City, we have to be in a top 4 team. Like, that's the levels. Because City, like Ricky said, they're not great, but they're also not bad. Like, they're not like us. They're not like Tottenham. Like, they're not in that kind of realm. They're still in that top 4, top 5 race. So only those teams, the Arsenals, the Liverpools, the Nottingham Forest, those kind of teams in that area of the table can really say confidently, yeah, we're going to go to City and actually take it to them, because this season we've been better than them by looking at the table. So I'll be honest, what we did today was kind of either as expected or probably better than probably what we thought we should be doing, because this season we haven't been great. So let's not act like we should just go to City and beat them.
There are improvements.
There are improvements. So I'm not happy with the game, because I still thought it was a bit boring. Even though Rick says not, I still thought it was a bit like something happened. Like let's see a goal, let's see a big chance or whatever. But to be fair, the fact that we actually played against Man City and had a decent game against them, and looking at the stats as well, we had more shots than them, we won more duels than them and all that kind of stuff. I still think we had a good game against them.
Do you think here, like, attacking quality is the difference? Like, for example, if we had an Ahmad available today, do you think that wins us the game?
Not necessarily.
Because
he is a game winner.
He's a
goal scorer.
I'm looking at it, right, and I feel like it's the same thing every single week. And don't get me wrong, Bruno has had some bad games and he doesn't play at the level he did today every single week. But I think over the course of a season, consistently, Bruno is probably our best player, and in my opinion, is levels above what we have. And today, I think he was levels above a lot of the players. I think some had some standout games. Like, I think Mazraoui did well. I think Yoro did well. I think Casemiro did all right. But I think Bruno it was clear that he was the player with that quality. He was the player that if something was going to happen, it was going to come through him. I've seen him put Garnacho in multiple times. I've seen him put Dorgu in multiple times. I mean, some of the passes he was making in situations where I was like, I wouldn't blame you if you just shot now, because he kept creating good opportunities and players just had such lack of quality on the ball. And it's like, if you actually have players in front of him that have that quality, we could be talking at Manchester United being like 2-0 up at half time. That's for me, the attacking players is a big area that is letting Manchester United down, because we've sorted our defence out. Yeah, if we're not utilising the wing backs that much, it can look a bit negative, like a back 5. But I think one of the reasons why the wing-backs aren't being utilised is because we're making the wrong decisions. Like, Dorgu's making that overlap, Garnacho's not passing to him. And it's like, I think that area is such a massive area of the pitch that if we actually sign some quality forward players in the summer, there has been improvements made in the rest of the team.
That's it. That is a major issue in the team at this moment. You talk about the decision making. I said this with Rashford ages ago, and it does apply to Garnacho at this moment in time. It's something that he could sort of stamp out of his game. But when you've got Dorgu, it's not the first time they played together. Dorgu and Garnacho, they played a run of games here together. When you've got in the second half, Dorgu busting an absolute gut, making that run on the outside of Garnacho, I'm watching it, and we all said the same thing. You knew he wasn't going to play Dorgu in. Now, don't get me wrong, sometimes you can use him as a decoy run to cut in and shoot, but you just knew 100% that Garnacho was going to cut in and shoot. Yeah, we got a corner from it, but you look at it. If I'm Dorgu, I'm going mad at that. You know, I have
you've
just
got to
made.
keep playing the right pass. And like Beth said, she wouldn't blame Bruno if he'd have shot. Rubbish that, Beth. You've got to keep playing the right pass.
I know you do, but I was thinking in the moment.
Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. That's how City have done it over the years. It's how Liverpool do it. You've really got to work and work and work at getting the ball round the outside and get people in behind.
I get what Beth's saying there, though.
I understand. I do understand. I can understand the frustration as well. But the first time you take a shot when you shouldn't take a shot, you never know if that was the moment we might have got a goal out of it. We did almost get a goal out of it a couple of times. You know, we pulled the ball back to Zirkzee, who hit a cracking shot. The keeper made a good save. Mount followed it up, another cracking shot, and another good save. Mason Mount, you've got to talk about, by the way. He looked absolutely class.
Yeah, we'll bring him into the conversation. Let's hope he can stay fit. But obviously, I get your point, and I was actually surprised Bruno did keep making the pass, even though the other players were letting him down. Because, I mean, obviously it's a different level. But Joe, when you're at Sunday League, and it's like, the players around you are just like, oh, you are rubbish. Like, you are actually garbage. And it's like, I'm just going to run the pitch and try and shoot myself, because sack that, because you are literally getting me nowhere. That's how I would feel. I'd be like, oh my gosh. Like obviously he's young, but when Dorgu hit that shot, and it just went like, anyone can hit a bad shot, but it's like, it was time after time after time. He was making them passes in the final third, and just nothing was coming of it. And it's not even like bad shots. It's like the wrong decision as well. Like the wrong decision, and it must be so frustrating.
I feel like with Bruno, obviously we've criticised him a lot over the past however many years. I think the reality is, when he has played with players who are in form as in attacking players, that's when Bruno's been at his best. You know, his first few seasons where Martial was playing very well, Rashford was playing well, even Ronaldo, when Ronaldo was playing very well, look at most of Ronaldo's goals, who did they come from? A lot of them came from Bruno, because when he is playing with that attacking outlet, who can finish chances, who can get in the right places at the right time, and they are going to get goals and they are going to finish these opportunities, the team naturally just plays better. And I feel like with Bruno now, as in the past year and a half, 2 years, he hasn't been playing with great attacking options, and this has probably been Bruno's most difficult period at United, and it's not a coincidence. We should have seen that coming.
We have some super chats in. Kevin says, you are right, Beth, Man City were nowhere near what they are. However, we were nowhere near what we used to be. I know we're not great, but even we have fallen off. City all the way says, got to hand it to United, you guys played better, but I have to say, Ugarte's a bit of a liability for the team. Casemiro may be slower and older, but he's still better than him. Keel Robinson says, we miss Anthony despite his inconsistency. And Isaac there just talking a little bit about his frustration with Garnacho and Rasmus Højlund. Thank you everyone for your super chats. Keep getting your comments in. Quickly, before we move on to the next segment of the show, I just want to ask Ricky, because, you know, it's very rare he walks through these studio doors and says, I think that's the best Bruno's ever played in a United shirt. That's what he said.
It's the first time we've ever heard that.
Why today for you? Well, first of all, give your opinions on Bruno's game and why you think that's one of the best he's ever played for United.
Simplicity. One word answer. Seriously though, he just really did get hold of it and play the ball along the deck, give and go. He put people in behind with simple balls rather than, there was no difficult fancy dance balls. There was rarely a fancy flick. He just played the game very simply. And I know we didn't win. But we are playing City, and I know you've said they're not what they were, but they're still a top side with top players. On their day, they're as good as anybody. Now, who's to say today might not have been their day if we wouldn't have played like we played? Do you know what I mean? Because they really are that good still when they turn up. So Bruno, for me today, absolutely excellent in his work rate and winning the ball back and giving the easy pass, and that's what it's all about. And getting, like you just said, getting them easy balls in. We mentioned, like I said, about getting it in, and we mentioned that Zirkzee got a chance for him and getting somebody in. Can't remember if it was Bruno who put, it might have been Garnacho who put Dorgu in, where he slid it across the 6-yard box and we appealed for a pen. The lad slid, you know what I mean? Oh, yeah. It didn't come to us, it didn't come to anything, but a really dangerous moment. You've got to keep working on those things, and I believe Bruno did today. I thought he was super.
I don't just think he kept it simple though. There was a range of passing there.
There was
he mixed
also,
up spraying
there was
passes
also
across.
some lovely bits of skill to get himself out of trouble.
I was going to say that.
I don't mind. I don't like fancy dance skills for no need. But when you're in a bit of trouble and you've got that bit of skill, there was one where he
the header, the flick round to Højlund and his span. Yeah, there was some nice little touches.
Really good bits of skill to get out of trouble.
What I want to ask is, because I feel like we've seen Bruno have, might not be a lot of games like this, but he has had a few games where he has played this kind of simple football. In your opinion, why do you think he doesn't do it more often then? If he can, because we've seen him do it, it's not like it's impossible to do it. Why doesn't he do it more often?
I don't know why, but I think we'd be a better team if he did do it more often.
But do you feel like there's like Beth said before, that frustration of, I keep playing it simple, but we're not getting anything out of it? Do you feel like that's part of it?
That could be part of it, but when you play, it's a little bit different when you're playing. Let's be honest here. On what night did we play? Tuesday night.
Yeah.
After the game, we were all downhearted. We got beat by Forest, and we, struggled. I said we played well. I felt we played well at Forest, and I think Kev agreed with me. Can't remember if you two did as well. I thought we played quite well at Forest. We moved the ball about well. We started to look like a football team, and after the game. Look, don't come at me again with City not what they were. They're still a really good side, and it's also you should expect them to be up for it in a Manchester derby.
They need top four as well.
And we all said after that game that we fancy us to get something out of this game. Even me, I fancied us to get something. I really do feel as though he's just beginning to knit it together. Do you know what I mean? Look, we're never going to win a league title with the attacking prowess that we've got. I get that, but I appreciate when a manager's working hard with what he's got and getting what he's got out of the players that he's got. And we, like I say, we might not even get top four without a bit more attacking prowess, but it's certainly coming as a team. A team, it's coming to shape.
No way with the attacking depth we've got, we'd get top four.
No,
can't even make top half of the table with it.
No.
That. Don't get me wrong. The defence isn't title winning, but the defence I think is actually pretty good. And we've got some solid options there. I mean, Euro today, I think really showed. From when he started at United to now, he's developed so much, and with the ball at his feet and his decision making, his composure, he looks so exciting for the future. And I think that's why you can't, write young players off. I know a lot of people questioning Dorgu right now, and I'm going to be honest, I don't think he's looked that great since he's come into United. But he's not got the same.
He's got plenty of athleticism, hasn't he?
Yeah, but he's not got the same luxury.
He looks physically fitter than everybody else.
Yeah, he's not got the same luxury as Euro, where Euro can come in and play here and there because we've got some decent centre-back options.
Yeah.
Dorgu's straight in every single game because we don't have a left wing-back.
Yeah.
If Euro had to do that, you might not have seen the progression of what you've had. Amorim's been able to play him 30 minutes here, a game here, not playing the next game. 45 minutes here. He's been able to do that, which is so much less pressure on you, and you can adapt to the team more, and you embed yourself into the team with a lot more comfortability, and it's allowed Euro to progress. Whereas, Dorgu, it's like straight in. You have to be the best left back now, and it's unfair. And we've got that in other areas. Like even Højlund and Garnacho, they're both very young and nowhere near at the level we need. But there's no other options, which is why. A lot of criticism because they're having to play every game, and you do need more. You can't keep talking about age. You're playing for United, you do need more. But a lot of it is down to the fact we've not got better senior players.
Dorgu's got fantastic energy and he's got great work rate. Now he's not got quite the ability, I don't think, as a footballer to take you certainly into a title challenging team. But for now, he's certainly going to do a decent job for us. There was one moment there where he was caught upfield, and he's got, he's a wing back. He's got to attack. He got caught upfield, and they broke away. And it's in the second half, so it's towards the east stand, and they fed the ball to De Bruyne, who was right in the middle of the field, 10 yards outside the box. My heart was in my mouth, and De Bruyne had just touched it a bit to his right to take a shot, and Dorgu came from nowhere and nicked it off his toe. Passed it back to the keeper. He had to make about 50 yards up to win that ball back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So great credit to him for his effort.
It's probably a sad sort of state of where we are though as a club, because we're actually sat here praising work rate, at Man United, and without sounding like Roy Keane, you would say that is, the bare minimum, work rate. And how many times have we said it about teams under Mourinho, Solskjaer, whoever it's been, Van Gaal? We've talked about a lack of work rate, players not running statistics, this, that, and that's why I know there will be people that will say, you've just said Højlund and Garnacho today, might not have played that great, but in terms of work rate, really good. But you would be saying, well, really, you want that from the other 10 outfield players on the pitch, don't you? Every single game, you can't turn it on and off.
Kieran Arnold has said, if Dorgu had an inside 10 on his side that is consistent, you won't be doubting him. Garnacho is too erratic and selfish. That's why Dorgu is uncertain in normal overlapping/underlapping situations.
I've always give praise to Dorgu, I'll be honest. I think, especially in terms of impact into this team, can we name another player that's come into this team this season and had as big of an impact onto Amrim's system? In my opinion, there hasn't been another player. We look at what it was like when he had them red cards as compared to when he finally came back into the team. It's a huge difference. And not to, obviously, Dallo was one playing there, so maybe it's just based off how good Dallo's been this season, but I genuinely feel like Dorgu, I'm not saying he's amazing or whatever, there are games where he's kind of not done much and it's like a 6 out of 10 game or whatever, and he's not had too many like 10 out of 10 games, but I just feel like in terms of, like I said, his energy, his work rate, but also the fact that he brings exactly what Amrim needs. He's a player who's going to get forward. He's going to try and put the ball in the box as many times as he can. How many times do you see Dorgu run down the wing and then try and cut in or try and shoot He only shoots when he's like right in front of the goal and it's like, okay, I need to, like, it's a one-time finish or something like that.
Probably should have shot in one of the situations.
Probably should have, yeah, but I feel like his main priority is kind of, I want to create, I want to put the ball in the box, I want to get forward, I want to be an attacking threat. But also, like you said, he gets back very, very well. He's super quick, and we obviously spoke about his work rate already. I think he's a good player, and I mean, like you said, I don't think he's good enough now to be in a Premier League title contending team, but we're not a Premier League title contending team anyway. So I don't expect him to be at that level right now. I expect us to be at that level in the next 3 years, and do I think Dorgu can get to that level in 3 years? Yes.
What I do like about him is, like Ricky said, is physicality. I think we lack a lot of physicality in our team and athleticism, and he does look like one of the fittest players, if not the fittest. Also, having him allows Mazraoui to go to centre-back, which I prefer. I think Mazraoui was, again, very, very good today. Very good. Suits that position really well. Had a bit of a off game, didn't he, last game? But
the thing with Dorgu is he's a left wing-back, isn't he? When you talk about putting Dallo on that side, he's not a left wing-back. So at this moment in time, he fits the system because he is he's the player that Amrim identified. He's playing him there, and he is a left wing back. Now Luke Shaw was on the bench today. You're like, oh, can he get back into this team? I'm like, what's going on with him, man? I was like, forgot all about him. I seen him named on the bench. I'm like, is his contract coming up or something? Like, it's that time of year when he starts. Or have England
he's getting himself.
Is there a Euros coming up or something, or a World Cup?
A cup final. He's getting himself.
Yeah.
The banger said, without Dorgu, how many crosses would we get in? I mean, I'll put this to you guys. I don't think Garnacho helped with Dorgu getting forward at all.
Makes it more difficult.
Because he's got ignored so many times, and oftentimes the pass wasn't quite right. And Garnacho is frustrating to watch, really frustrating to watch at the minute. Do you think if Dorgu was playing with someone like a Mason Mount who did come onto the pitch, you'd see a bit more from him?
1,000,000%.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
1,000,000,000%. Honestly, if you've got somebody, Dorgu's game today could have looked a hell of a lot better if he had somebody who was on the same wavelength as him. I've highlighted that. You will see that. It was easy to see for you in the stadium watching today. When you're making a run like that, even you talk about in the first half, Bruno makes that run, and Garnacho's got the ball, and he needs to feed it in front of him so that Bruno can run onto it and a chance is created. The pass is kind of to the side, there's not much on it, and by the time Bruno controls it, the defender gets back in place. It's little moments like that, and you could see Bruno turn to Garnacho, and he's not like going mad at him, but you can tell that he's frustrated with him, and he's saying, put it in front of me for me to run onto it, and there's a chance there. The chance goes, and it's just such a simple thing. That is down to Garnacho not getting that pass right.
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Mords, on the Garnacho thing? Because a lot of what we do comes through him. He's always a talking point. He's always got the ball, gets himself into some good positions, defensively works really hard, brings a lot of energy, but attacking output, weak shots, bad decisions, selfish decisions at times. He's a frustrating watch, but he is getting himself into them positions, and Amrim's playing him 90 minutes.
All the time.
All the time, even through fan criticism, and there's been a lot of it. Yeah. Do you think now Mason Mount, if he provides some competition, will be able to maybe give him that competition? Or do you see anything, Garnacho? How do you feel? Because I've seen a lot of people say, we need to sell Garnacho in the summer, we need to sell him. But at the moment, he seems to be a mainstay in the Amorim team, despite that frustrating side of it.
I think, well, in terms of the Mason Mount thing, I don't think Amorim, as good as he speaks very, very highly about Mason Mount. He said loads of different things about how he's one of his favourite players and he fits his system and all this kind of stuff. However, Amorim's not dumb. Amorim knows he's been injured for the past 2 years or so. He's not going to put full confidence in Mason Mount and go and sell Garnacho and say, well, we've got Mason Mount here. He must know, okay, there's a huge chance he could also get injured next season. If he does that, then we have no one. We might go and buy someone else, but I think to completely just replace one of the players, replace Garnacho for Mason Mount, is a bit of a quick decision, knowing Mason Mount's injury record. So I don't think you fully replace him in this team. I think they'll probably get rotated quite a bit for the rest of the season, maybe even next season. But I think in terms of quality, Mason Mount definitely adds a lot more than what Garnacho has, especially in terms of just, like we said, his IQ in the final third. He is a more experienced player by age, but also he's played at a high level. He's won the Champions League, and I know, yes, that doesn't necessarily mean he's that same player right now. But I think when in terms of IQ and understanding the game, the more you play, the more you learn. You learn what not to do and what to do in the right times. So I feel like Mason Mount has that over Garnacho, which is something that he lacks. And the last thing I want to say, based on Garnacho as well, is I feel like chemistry when it comes to attacking players is the most important thing, because we've seen some of the best, what do we call them, like duos in the Premier League, like Harry Kane and Heung-min Son, or Dwight York and Andy Cole, or even like Rooney, Ronaldo and Tevez. The best part about them was, yes, their ability was great, but they understood each other's game perfectly. They knew exactly when, Ronaldo's going to make this overlapping run, or Ronaldo's going to be running in this direction. Rooney knew straight away, he knows where the other players are going to be, so he knows when and where to make the passes. I feel like with someone like Dorgu and Garnacho, because that chemistry just isn't there, it's like they both just don't understand each other at all. And it's like when you see Garnacho getting forward, he's probably not even thinking Dorgu's making an overlapping run. He's probably not even thinking about it. He already knows what he wants to do. Whereas if they were both on the same wavelength, including Højlund, including Zirkzee or whoever else is playing next to them, if we have an attacking output of 3 or 4 players who all have on the same wavelength and have the same chemistry, of a good chemistry, we're going to see a lot. We're going to see better performances from them, but right now everyone just kind of just seems to be on their own kind of wavelength and their own path, which I feel like is why they always make the wrong decisions.
I can't believe that Garnacho wouldn't have known that Dorgu's making that. If
I don't think he's thinking about.
I'm shouting, Alejandro! Do you know what I mean? I'm making that run and I'm shouting. I just
think very tunnel vision when he's got the ball. Like he's just straight.
You know exactly what he's going to do.
I think he decides sometimes that I'm going to have a shot even before the ball comes.
Yeah. In the build-up to that, even though Dorgu's made the run, he's got that in his mind. That's his makeup.
You need players that have the head on a swivel. I'm going to be honest, I think the only reason Garnacho is playing so many minutes is because Ahmad's injured. I think if Ahmad is fit, Garnacho is starting from the bench every game. Because I think the only reason Garnacho's in the team is because he's the only player in them 10 positions that offers pace on the break. Like that
brings us back to your question about if we sell him, because obviously
I think we will sell him.
Well, we're hoping Ahmad's not going to be injured forever. We're hoping Mainu doesn't go anywhere. He's not going to be injured forever. We're going to have loads of options.
Yeah, once these players come back.
10 roles, but obviously at the minute they've all been injured at the same time, haven't they, so to speak? Mount, Mainu and Ahmad all injured at the same time. It's a sorry state of affairs, really.
I think, there's people there like, Garnacho, Amorim clearly doesn't want to sell Garnacho, like, that's why he's playing him loads. No, I think he will. Like, not in a disrespectful way. I think he will. I think the reason he plays every game is because of that pace on the break. That's why. If Ahmad's got that pace, fit. He can provide that. Like, he's the winger type of profile, isn't it? And he does want that. He wants some pace on the break. You want to have players with different attributes.
He looks pacey, but he never gets past anyone, does he?
But he does get up the pitch.
He never knocks the ball past anybody and beats them to it, does he? Like a really quick player, do you know what I mean?
But
he looks pacey. He's exciting.
Yeah.
He just gets more.
Exactly the same as Højlund, isn't it?
What is exciting?
Well, Højlund's playing as centre forward, isn't he?
Yeah. Like, what is exciting? Cause I feel like we say exciting a lot. What is exciting?
Not exciting to me, Mords. Fans get excited. Everybody's. I'll tell you what happened today. Do you remember the one where? I think it was a quick 1-2 and it was played. We were attacking the Stretford end, and it was played through the inside left channel, and he was clearly favourite to get in the box, but it's running towards the dead ball line, and there was 2 City players chasing him, but he just had the edge on him, and the ball was in front of him, and everybody stood up, and I just sat there like that. I know what's going to happen, and I managed to see through a crack and he just slid in and blocked it. He went out for a corner. At least we got a corner, as people will say.
I loved it, Ricky's definition of exciting. A nil against City, and he's like, I was on the edge of my seat. It was brilliant. I loved it.
The thing is, in a 0-0, if you scored a goal, that's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not interested in hat-tricks in 5-2 wins.
Realistically, in them 10 roles under Amorim, it's always going to be either... We've got obviously Anthony and Rashford aren't here right now, but it's always going to be either a Garnacho or an Ahmad in one side, and then a Mount or a Zirkzee or a Mainu, Eriksen,
Or Bruno
in the other, like a creative midfielder, and then someone with a bit of pace, like more of a tricky winger, just because he likes to have that balance. So if you had Ahmad fit, I think Garnacho would be doing so much better off the bench, and this is why I think he will go in the summer. Is because even though I think I'd like to keep him as a bench option as that impact sub, it's like, when there's 50, 60 million on the table, you're going to take it, aren't you?
If there still is.
But then you still are going to have to replace him, so it's one of them. Get in the comments down below.
Why are you going to have to replace him?
You are.
And we're not talking about the squad that we've got here with the amount of number 10s. How many number 10s do we want? If you've got Zirkzee, Bruno, Mount, Mainu and Ahmad, am I missing any? There's 5 people that can play at number 10.
I'll go through that.
Go on.
Ahmad might play wing back, we don't know.
Yeah.
Mount, you can't rely on him. Injured all the time. Zirkzee, good. Is he a starter? In a team that's competing.
I'd start him as much as Garnacho, wouldn't you?
Mainu.
Would you, yes or no? Would you
Yeah, but I don't think Garnacho's good enough.
Well, yeah, but you start Zirkzee as much as Garnacho, so...
I'd start Zirkzee more than Garnacho.
Right, okay.
But I still don't think at the level we want to be operating. Amorim's talking about the fact he wants to win the Premier League next year. Like, Zirkzee's good and he offers more than Højlund, and I like him as an option and he could develop. But right now, as a starting number 10, is it enough? No, we've got to be realistic. Our forward options, they need to be better.
Garnacho's not better than all the others. I don't think Garnacho should be starting.
I
think Eriksen's going to leave, isn't he?
Yeah.
But at the minute we've got Eriksen. I'd have Eriksen in front of Garnacho.
Yeah, I
don't somebody in there who's going to look after.
He's not a number 10, is he?
I'm talking about next season.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think any of them should be starting. I think Mount is an option, but he's always injured. And then you've got Mainu. We've seen him a couple of times in the 10 role. We don't know. We need him to get back fit. I think quality-wise, he does look quality, and he's someone I would be excited to see play there. Who was the other one? Bruno. He's playing in a deeper role nowadays for the majority of the time. We need a number 10.
The last 2 games he's played both Ugarte and Casemiro, hasn't he? And I think it's gone quite well.
Well, let me bring that super chat in actually and ask you guys about that. So we have a super chat here from Jason Hanna saying, I know the attackers are useless, but Ugarte offers nothing, either on the ball. He's useless, no better than Fred. I would actually say he's worse than Fred. I think that's a super, super harsh super chat, to be honest with you. But with the with the Ugarte and Casemiro thing, do you guys like them together? Ugarte seems to be the one that's been subbed in the recent games, and Casemiro's kind of outlasted him. What do you think of that partnership?
I'll be honest, if we're having to start Casemiro next season, something's wrong. I'm not even to say that he's a terrible player, but there's no way we should still be starting Casemiro in our midfield next season. That's a problem. That means we've not progressed in the last how many years? Yes, his first season was great, but we have not seen Casemiro over a run of games have great performances. To me, look, I know he's one of the options, and technically he shouldn't even be here next season. We should be selling him. I know he's probably going to want to stay and whatever, but we should be selling him next season and moving on to getting the younger players and more fit players. But yeah, they might even Casemiro today, I thought he got better in the game, but I thought early on he was still very wasteful, still losing the ball, misplacing passes, stuff like that. He did get better into the game, and I thought he eventually was making more passing and he was getting a lot of tackles and whatnot. But I just can't see Casemiro long term, especially next season, being our starting midfielder.
I think it's clear long term that Casemiro is not the answer. And that was a concern today when I seen them two in the midfield. I was thinking, but you have to look back now and think Amorim has got it absolutely bob on, because the midfield battle, which is you've got De Bruyne, Bernardo, Kevin De Bruyne, you're looking at them and thinking they could cause a bit of a bit of mither in that midfield today. And they didn't really. But I agree, long term, Casemiro should not be there. He's on hell of a lot of money. He might want to see out his contract. That's entirely up to him. He's got that. But long term, Ugarte is going to be the main man. And then you look. He's mixed it up, isn't it? It's horses for courses. He's looked today and thought it did look very defensive. At times it looked like a solid back five. You've got two defensive-minded players in front of that then, so it's worked a treat, but long term, if the way Amorim wants to play, you could mix it up. If Casemiro's not going to be there, does Mainu come in next to Ugarte? You know, what's the long term? Or does a Collier or somebody like that come in?
I thought Bruno was playing deeper now.
Well, yeah, he could do as well, yeah.
I think when Bruno dropped back, we actually were better because we could move the ball up the pitch better. He can dictate from the back. I don't think we're lacking a ball progressor in the midfield, a ball carrier as well. I mean, on Ugarte, I did think that super chat was a bit harsh. He actually has, he's only one player in Europe's top 5 leagues has covered more ground without the ball than Ugarte this season. Covers a lot of ground, got good defensive actions. He's had a couple of iffy games, but overall this season I think he's adjusted quite well. I think him and Bruno do play well together. The question is, do you think long term it's a solid enough partnership in the midfield?
Bruno and Ugarte?
Yeah.
Oh, is it on me?
Yeah, you're in the hot
Do
seat.
I think Bruno and Ugarte long term?
Does Mainu displace them? Does he go into a 10?
I genuinely feel like the best game that I've seen with two players in that midfield was Mainu and Ugarte. I feel like Bruno is a great player, and I feel like wherever he plays, is going to play good in general. But if I'm going to say this season, who have I seen in Amorim's system as in like the best? I think Mainu and Ugarte. Yes, Mainu has the best season, but I think him and Ugarte have been the best partnership that I've seen in that team midfield. So wherever Bruno wants to play after that, you can play in the 10. Cool.
He
that
can still play as a 10,
completely,
can't you? You can
completely
mix
fine.
it up.
I think that's great. But yeah, I think that's the best partnership.
And it depends who you're playing against as well, innit? You know, if we're playing, no disrespect to off the top of my head, a West Ham at home or a Wolves at home, you wouldn't really want to see that team that was out there today, would you? A Casemiro and Ugarte, you know,
Ricky would.
in front of a back five, because it doesn't. He's done what he had to do today. To me, to get the result. It's all about game management.
Well, that's the same team that we pick regularly, innit? He always plays with 3 centre-backs, and since Dorgu's been there, it's been Dalot and Dorgu. Casemiro and Ugarte played at Forest, they played today, and when it's, you know, when it's not Casemiro and Ugarte, it's Bruno in there. It's just the format that he plays, and when I saw the lineup and I saw Garnacho was playing as well, I think that would have been the lineup today if we were playing West Ham or Wolves at home. You know what I mean? So just as you just said.
Do you think the team selection he's got obviously Thursday night's game in mind?
Yeah.
The fact that Zirkzee didn't start.
Possibly, but it's only going to be that one position, I think. I won't be surprised.
It's going to be mainly the same as that.
If they're all fit. I mean, Maguire came off, didn't he? I bet your bottle went when Lindelof came on, didn't you? But there's no difference, was there? Do you know what I mean? There's no difference. So, and he played half an hour.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah. Give away a silly foul on the end of the box, didn't it?
Yeah, but
I didn't think Maguire did that great when he was on anyway, to be honest, for his usual standards.
But yeah, I think the team, unless Maguire's not fit, the team will probably be the same again, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think he...
Well, De Ligt been back. Was he injured today?
He must have been injured.
I think Zirkzee might start next
He'll be
game.
back.
De Ligt is injured, yeah, he's got an ankle injury, but he's not anything too serious, so hopefully he'll be back. I mean, speaking of that, Hambakaya says Zirkzee over Højlund all day. Zirkzee can be a squad player in upcoming seasons. Højlund needs to get sold in June-July window. And a couple of people talking about Zirkzee's impact. To me, it's just... Ricky, you did speak at the start of the show about starting, it's always going to be more difficult, you know, the work that you've got to put in. But it's like Zirkzee comes on immediately, like, you know, he's got a shot off. Didn't see Højlund, I don't think he took one shot. He's immediately Zirkzee, he's dragging us up the pitch, you know, he's carrying the ball well, he's getting himself on the ball, he's holding it up. Just his all-round play, like, he's better in my opinion. I just think he's a better footballer, and that does help you currently. I don't think either of them are the answer as the main striker right now. But with Zirkzee, I just think you get a few more benefits. I mean, but then again, when Zirkzee starts, he's not as good as when he's off the bench. I think both of them are better off the bench. What are you?
And after about 60, 70 minutes, Zirkzee always looks like he's just played like an entire, you know, like he's been playing for like about 3 days in a row or something. Zirkzee is not a world beater. I keep going back to this point. I just think the standards at Man United are that low that when you've just mentioned then, Zirkzee come on, you can say work rate, you know, he ran about. He passed a few nice passes out. And I think in that area of the pitch, because the players are that inconsistent, when Zirkzee comes in, he's a bit of a breath of fresh air because he just does the basic things where we kind of applaud it and we're like, oh, that's brilliant. You know, in stark contrast to somebody like Garnacho, where you'll be pulling your hair out and going, for God's sake, you know, and you've got Dorgu overlapping and he's not doing it. If Zirkzee was in that role of where Garnacho was today, it could have been a different story down that side. You know, Dorgu could have had a load of joy because Zirkzee certainly wouldn't have been ignoring him, cutting him in, you know, cutting in, having a shot. They could have worked well as a partnership. That could be something more long term.
Yeah, I think it's a good shout. Marlow FC says the amount of attacks Garnacho ruins is mind-boggling. I have seen enough. Jason Hanna says if Ugarte is our main man, we are in trouble. Keel says Anthony has been better for the team than Garnacho. Carol says Garnacho is not a team player, we should sell him. Ravel Byrne says, why is it on Garnacho to get on the same wavelength as Dorgu? When he's on the same side as Dallo, they work together fine. Why can't Dorgu adjust?
Did they?
Pardon?
Did they work together fine?
Fair
enough. He's being ignored, isn't he?
Kevin said, Dorgu's performance was good and this performance is why management should see why we need to buy experienced players. An experienced player can improve Dorgu and he can learn a lot from them. Rob Always United says, what did you think about Marmoush? I thought we handled him pretty well. Thabang have done that one. Mira says Adeyemi from Dortmund would be a great left wing back. Wilson Pereira says the camaraderie between you guys, despite having conflicting views, is what makes the United stand the go-to for anything Man United. Thanks, Kev, Mordzs, Ricky and Beth. Thank you very much for that. Very nice chat. Lamslayer says, Beth, can you say I've got school? It's not funny. No, I get asked to do that all the time. No, I don't even think I sound like that.
Why? What is that?
What is it?
Have you not seen that girl? Like, she's like a little Mancunian blonde girl, and she goes, "It's not funny, I've got school." Like that. He went like proper big, and everyone says I sound like him. I don't think I do. But anyway, we'll talk about our starting 11s for the Lyon game because that is a huge game that's coming up, and I think we might have maybe some different opinions on that one. I just lastly want to talk about the Mason Mount appearance in a little bit more detail. Ricky, you said we've got to talk about him. He was class. How hopeful are you that he can stay fit, and what impact do you think he can give? How is he better than what we've got?
Well, obviously I've no idea if he can stay fit or not. I just pray that he can do. That's all I can say about that. Pray that he can do. But every time he comes on the field, he's a breath of fresh air. He's absolutely electric. On the ball, he moves with it well, winning it back, chasing, I was going to say lost causes. I'm not a fan of chasing lost causes, but chasing almost lost causes and managing to get a foot in. He's just an absolutely determined player who's determined to do well, and he looks great to me. He looks absolutely great. So I just hope
the injury record's the
all I can
worry,
say about
isn't it?
the injury record is I hope it's behind him. That's all I can say. I've no idea if it is or it isn't.
Yeah. It's like trying to predict the national lottery results or the Euro Million results, and the $1 million question is, can he stay fit? I'm sure if he does, he is probably, well, he's somebody under Amorim that will definitely be in that starting 11 if he's fit. But again, it's if. It's a massive if.
What I like about Mount is he's a good footballer. He keeps it. He's not flashy. He's not, pinging balls left, right, and centre. But he's a good footballer, and he makes the right decision on the ball. Ricky,
Exactly.
Keeps it simple.
He's intelligent. We need more of them in our team. We've got too many players that are trying to do too much, don't make the right decisions, and that's how you lose the ball and you get counted on, and you don't maintain attacks. We need to continue building, maintaining attacks, sustaining attacks, and not have it break down so easily. And I think Mason Mount could be a big part of that. Whether he can stay fit or not, I don't know. You're kind of hoping, aren't you? You're hoping and praying. There were stories midweek that we might be sending him over to Switzerland for some sort of injury rehabilitation that could take 6 months. So to try and get the best out of him. So who knows? I was just happy he lasted the 20 minutes he was on the pitch, to be honest with you. Marlow FC says, I agree that Højlund doesn't get enough service, but his placement in the box is so bad, always behind the defender. I think Chido was unlucky not to get a few minutes, to be honest. If I was Chido and I was looking, I'd be thinking, what can I do to get a few minutes here? That's the thing.
It's a difficult one. He's got one striker starting, he's playing with one striker, Zirkzee's on the bench. Is he going to give the young kid a run in front of Zirkzee?
I don't think Højlund's offering anything right now.
You couldn't play the young kid in front of him, I don't think. I mean, I told you what
Why though?
I told you what he offered in the first half. He worked his socks off, he won free kicks, he got hold of the ball.
Yeah, but
He's played Mainu instead of him.
When did he get hold of the ball?
He got hold of the ball a few times in the first half.
In difficult situations, guys, saw multiple times.
I believe the manager will have been pleased with him in the first half today.
I don't think it's enough. I don't think what you're telling me is enough.
Yeah, but I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure the 17 or 18-year-old lad, whatever he is, could have done it as well.
I'm not saying Cheeto should be starting, but what I'm saying is I don't think there's much difference at all. And I think if Cheeto was given the opportunity, he could offer more than what Højlund is offering. Højlund's offering minimal. Hold-up play, barely existent. Doesn't get hold of the ball through his centre-back. Doesn't bully his centre-back ever. And never getting shots off in the box. And I get there's little service, but he's not getting himself in the position to do that. Zirkzee comes on, he has 2 shots straight away. Not really, carrying the ball up the pitch in the way that Zirkzee's done. And minimal link-up play. I don't want to be harsh, but it just doesn't offer enough for me at all in the final third.
I don't think he's an hammering player at all. It might prove me wrong, but I've said it so many times. If I'm Højlund and Kobbie Mainoo is playing as a false 9 ahead of me, if Harry Maguire's coming on off the bench and going up front, if I'm Højlund, I'm just thinking, what is going on here? But at the same time, you have to have a long hard stare in the mirror at yourself. Look at your own game. Has he got a justifiable excuse or argument to say why it's not working at United at the minute? Because so many games they're kind of just passing him by. He's a passenger in that team. Can you go down the route of he doesn't get the service? I keep saying, sometimes you have to create your own service. You just mentioned hold-up play. I think you need that as a striker, especially at Manchester United as well. In certain games, if you're away at Anfield, whatever it is, and you're pinging a ball into him, you need him to be the first touch has to be great, hold it up and let the team move up the pitch. When you've got somebody where it's just pinging off them, and you're losing possession, you're just giving it straight back, and it just makes the game so much difficult for you. Simple things. I mean, has he got it in him? I don't know. And don't get me wrong, he's very short on confidence at the moment.
When we decided after about 10 minutes that we would give up trying to play out from the back from dead ball kicks and play long ball kicks, Højlund's always the target. Now, you might think, well, he doesn't win any of them, but he's a physical presence there that they've got to contend with. And they beat him in the air, and I'll re-watch it and check it out tomorrow. But in my opinion, because he's there, all they can do is let it back to our midfield players. We're getting the second ball because they're aiming it at Højlund. Højlund's giving them a job to do, and they're not getting a clean header, they're not getting a free header, and they're heading it back to our players that are coming onto the ball. And I think that happened on numerous occasions in the first.
There was a few points where the ball was fed into his feet, and his first touch isn't there, he's knocking it ahead of himself, giving it away. I just think little things like that sometimes.
Cheeto's a physical presence, though, that could do the same thing.
Yeah, I think he could do that.
And the thing is, he come on against...
very low standards, that.
Was it Arsenal he come on against?
Man United. A centre forward of Man United. Just look at I was going to name the Isaacs and a Watkins or a Haaland but even like a Mateta or even a Delap or anyone really, they're offering more. And I'm not saying that's the standard in Man United. United standards should be even higher. But I think we really do need to look at where we're at in terms of our options in the front three and our goal scoring and the little amount of goals we're scoring, even the little shots that we're having, and what we're doing in the final third. We need more from our striker. Just like we need more from our number 10s, we need more from our striker.
You're not wrong.
You don't want to put too much on Cheeto, but I'm going to say one thing, right? This is probably of how kind of bad Højlund has been, and he has been bad. The Arsenal game at Old Trafford, Cheeto come on, didn't he? Right? Turns, swivels, nearly hit the corner flag with a shot. And you talk about standards. Remember he dragged it across goal.
Was that in the Fulham game?
Was it Fulham?
FA
Cup on it, yeah, that's the one. And I remember him doing that, but I think because Højlund's not really done that much, we were all like, oh, well, at least he took he got into that kind of, what do you call it? At least he was in the area, he was alive to the ball and that. And again, it goes back to standards where, really, if you're going to be harsh, you'd say, well, he needs to be hitting the target at least. But because Højlund isn't doing it, Cheeto comes on, and again, you don't want to build him up too much, do you? What is he, 18 years old? He's been phenomenal in the under-18s, cannot stop scoring. But again, he's just got no competition, Højlund, has he?
Yeah,
Nothing.
I mean, we'll talk about who will start there for the big game against Lyon on Thursday. I'm excited for that one, I'll tell you. Very, very excited. Kevin Emmanuel says we should all talk about Yoro because at the beginning everyone told we were robbed, but some of his performances have been world class. Yeah, that's something really we've already touched upon. Yoro was really good. Do you know who else I thought was pretty good today? I thought Dallo for once was actually pretty decent. For once this season. On the right hand side, you can just tell he's more comfortable playing on his right foot. So a bit of a shout out to Dallo. He's not played very well that often this season, but today I thought he did really well, and want to see more of that from him on the right side. And when he got the ball, he was actually making the right decisions, which is a big part of it. Marlow FC says I agree that Højlund doesn't get enough service, but his placement in the box is bad, always behind the defender. Hambakaya says Zirkzee is one of the few players who has elements to his game that can be world class. Plays two-touch, can make through balls, strong with dribbles. Brian Sheehy says such a pleasure hearing the four of you after the game. I'm always disappointed if one of you is missing. Great stuff and a nice positive tone. Thank you, Brian. Avi says we are never going to have a squad with a strong bench again. Or nah. 2008 was the last time we had a great bench. 2008. Wow. You really are going back. Samir, thank you for your super chat. Thank you everyone for your chats in. I think I have done them all up to now, so thank you everyone for getting them in. Last bit of the show, we're just going to go through our starting 11 for the Lyon game, because this is huge. And I was talking to the girl I sit with in Old Trafford today saying, I just want to come back from Lyon, even if it's a draw, just not being out of the tie. You want to still be in that tie, so go and play for it at Old Trafford, because our season is resting on this, really. Yeah. There is a small chance. I think the English Premier League will get that 5th spot being a Champions League place, but there is even a small chance that City could not even be in the Champions League next year, and United could be if they win this cup, which is crazy to even think about. So it's massive. Lyon are a good side, by the way. Going away from home, pressure's on. We need a good team, and Amrin will know that. It's season defining, this game. How are we lining up? Starting off, keeper, are we sticking with Onana or are we going to Binder?
Sticking with Onana.
Yeah.
Let's not risk it.
No.
He's just come up from injury. Let's just stick with Onana. Yeah.
Are we all in agreement?
Yeah.
Okay, you're 3 at the back now. If De Ligt's back, who are we going for? I'm assuming De Ligt will be back.
If De Ligt's back for me, he goes in ahead of Maguire, yeah. I think it'd have to be, as the 3.
I like that.
Do you go the same?
I'd go with that, yeah.
You go with it? No Lindelof, Ricky?
No, not quite, but he'll certainly come on and have another good half hour.
Wing backs will go in Dallo and Dorgu.
Yeah.
Our only options, really, but we're going with that. Midfield 2. Who are you going in there as your midfield 2?
I think it has to be the same as today.
I do.
Especially when you take into consideration the team, you're going away, it's not...
Going against Matic, Kev, come on.
Exactly. Ricky knows all about that. You need to compare sort of like for like, isn't it? You need to be physical in there, and Ugarte and Casemiro, I think they could do a job. Yeah. I think you've said it yourself as well, absolutely nailed it, in the fact that we have to be in this tie coming back to Old Trafford. So for me, you have to pick a midfield there that's gonna compete. Mm-hmm. Defensive though as well. I'd probably go the same. As much as I'd want to go Bruno and Ugarte, I do think Casemiro's played pretty well the last few games. I know it's only stopgap, I know it's short-termism, but you are going away from home, and he's got that experience in the European competition. I actually would play him with Ugarte in there. Are we all in agreement with that?
Yeah, agreed.
Right, your 2 number 10s, who are they?
Bruno Zirkzee, for me anyway.
So Bruno Zirkzee, Mordzs has gone in strong.
Yeah, there's probably a shout for Mount.
If he thinks Mount's fit to play, I'd go Bruno and Mount.
I was actually going to say that, but
so
if Mount's not, then it would be Zirkzee and Bruno for me.
In the chat
already, so
in the chat, Bruno Mount. Depends if Mount's fit enough to start, to be honest with you.
That's the big question.
I still don't think I'd risk him.
No, I wouldn't.
And I think I'd then go Bruno Zirkzee, like Mordzs.
Garnacho's not getting drops, I don't think, do you?
No, I don't think he will, but I would. And then up front, I'd have to go.
Bruno, Mount, Zirkzee.
Zirkzee is like the false 9.
Is there enough pace there?
Yeah, but his pace.
Doesn't matter,
Yeah, his pace really the most important thing.
Never get anything anyway to it.
The pace is. I didn't think
score a goal,
anyway.
That's true.
So it doesn't matter. Play Eriksen there if you want. We might still get one.
Do you know what? Yeah, do you know what? Do you know what? Yeah.
Højlund's one of the quickest players at the club.
Do you know what? Yeah. I'm going with you. I'm
what's that
going
achieving?
Bruno Mount Zirkzee as well.
Yeah.
I know there's a lack of pace there, but you know, is it actually intelligence?
Does it make a
There's
difference?
Intelligence, and there's players that are going to make good decisions on the ball. Bruno mainly, but yeah.
Players that are going to keep it simple. That's the new T-shirt.
Maybe he
United
might be
stand
back.
merch.
He won't start, but he might be back
It's
for the
simple.
squad.
Is that what they're saying, yeah?
Yeah,
Well, that's
could
good
be,
news.
could be back for
addition.
the squad. Luke Shaw was on the bench today, guys.
Wow.
Yeah, he might get 10 minutes.
He might
on
get some
Thursday.
minutes. Aidan Heaven was back with the squad.
Yeah, I genuinely feel like if we actually played how we played today, with a little bit more like finished product, we win that game, 100%.
And we did have chances.
We did have chances.
Ugarte one in the second half, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Where he just put it wide. It wasn't a snooze fest where you kind of look at it. It wasn't two teams that kind of cancelled each other out. You know, City look at that. They had opportunities as well. I think it was as boring. I think people will just look at it and see 0-0 and think, bloody hell, that must have been, you know, a shite game or whatever. But I didn't think it was.
Wolf, thank you for your super chat. And Class of 99 says, ironic thing is one thing Ghana does well is make the right runs. Rasmus can't even do that, which makes him completely useless and has nothing to offer. A bit harsh again, but like...
True.
Yeah, kind of. Let's do our man of the match for the derby. Quick fire, man of the match, Ricky.
Bruno.
Oh yeah.
Mords.
Yeah, Bruno.
Kev.
Bruno.
I am also going to go for Bruno Fernandes. Mazraoui got it on the player ratings. Mazraoui was good, but I think Bruno was man of the match, in my opinion. Any magic moment, any at all?
There's a point where Bruno like flicked it over one guy's head. I don't know who it was, but that was cool.
No, that was a good little.
Other than that,
Had a few nice moments, Bruno, didn't he?
I'll name another. Save by Bernardo.
I was just about to. You took it out of my mouth.
When Bernardo Silva hit that, I could not believe
It was
the power
Marmich,
in
wasn't
it.
it?
Oh, I thought it was Bernardo
It was
Silva.
Marmich.
It was like a rocket on a volley.
Yeah.
yeah.
At the East Stand.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the free kick.
No.
Oh, you're talking about the volley?
It was
Second half.
Absolute. No, it was in. Is that the second half? Yeah, that's the second half. Yeah, that's the second half.
Made a couple good saves in that.
It was an absolute rocket of a shot. I bet when he hit it, he thought he'd scored.
Yeah. He left his foot.
Yeah, interesting. A couple of people saying it was Marmouche, but maybe they're getting it confused with the free kick as well. I'm not sure. Marlo has said, Mark is calling it agenda when we criticise Ghana. Can you have a discussion on the forum with Mark about Ghana? We'll get Mark on the show to talk about Ghana.
On the big screen.
We'll do it. We'll try and call him in. You ask him for that in his comments of his next live show if that's what you want to see. Last but not least, are we winning in Lyon, Kev?
I think we will draw.
I'll take a draw.
Wow, am I only going to say win? Okay, cool. We're going to win.
You're the new voice of positivity.
I thought you were going to say
on
win.
it now.
I think we're
It's
gonna
up to you to.
I think we're going to win. I think it's going to be a 1-0.
I'd say that every day of the week.
Maybe a 2-1.
Quiet win.
Very
Get the job done and leave.
Low-key one.
Chance of scoring two is unlikely.
Do you know what it is, actually?
It'd be 1-0 or 1.
Try not to let my heart over my head.
It's like, because I think we've improved the way we're playing, I'm like, yeah, we can go and win, but also it's like Lyon are actually good. They've got some really good players, and we don't score goals. Where are the goals coming from?
Could score one though. I mean, how much better are Lyon than City? Can you even say that?
They're from the French league, and I believe it's dead slow.
Oh, don't get me started. Right,
That was Syria. That was Syria.
we're
on for another hour here now.
We're wrapping up. Look, everyone, thank you for watching. Hit a like on the video if you've not already. Bit of a dull derby score, but the fans forum was a pleasure as per usual, and we've got a super exciting game ahead on Thursday night in Lyon, where Manchester United, this is their competition that we've got to win the Europa League. Don't necessarily have to win in Lyon, but it'll make a very big help bringing it back to Old Trafford. So make sure you stay tuned for that, and obviously all the news coming out this week as well. Thank you for watching. Thank you to all of your super chats. Jason Hannah says my moment of the match was the final whistle. Yeah, the pain ended then. But look, thank you everyone for watching, and we will see you on the next one.